allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Peter Somerville, Town Council.
John Supervisor,
Bill Ryan, Town Attorney.
Randy Bates, Councilman.
Victoria Creeper, Town.
Brian and Mary are absent. Any audience comments, please? If not, I need a motion to accept the January 22nd minutes.
I make a motion to accept the January 22nd minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What's missing on that, I apologize, is the public hearing also for January 22nd.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes for the January 22nd public hearing meeting.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion's carried. Budget modifications and transfers will be at the next meeting. Once again, I'll make a motion to pay all signed vouchers and bills.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Supervisor's report. Once again, I want to stress that the Vogue grant application deadline is February 28th. And on March 3rd at 6 p.m., we're going to open those applications and have a discussion. We will not be making a decision that night. That's all that's going on that day. The couple of good news things is that we got our sales tax. So we had budgeted $700,000 and we received $875,000. The mortgage tax from the prior year, we went from $40,000 to $35,000, and we received almost $38,000, which is good. And Bone Steel Creek Forest Garden is off 145. They're tax exempt. But
Can't picture the place. What is it?
there's a road before you get to,
Burkhardt Road.
what is it?
Burkhardt Road.
Burkhardt Road, right off 145, and they're up there. But either way, they're tax exempt. But again, this year they gave us a $1,300 donation for the services that we provide, which I appreciate that.
Okay.
I'm still working on getting quotes for the LLO, quotes as far as the engineer's explanation on how we're going to supply water to the district once we cap that LLO pipe. So I'm waiting on information with that. I spoke to Lynn about it, and really we're at a standstill with that. But once again, we can't do anything till springtime anyway.
When were we planning to cap that pipe?
We have to, before we cap it, we have to have that alternative water source.
Right.
Once that's in place, then we'll just cap it. So the first thing we need is an engineer's report on how to supply the water, how much, the size of the pump, the size of the pipe. But I'm definitely leaning towards a siphon system, not a continuous pump.
And what is the urgency to cap that pipe?
According to Labella, it's immediate, but we've been going through this for years.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna take it one step at a time, not gonna rush to cap it, until we have that alternative water source. But as long as we keep moving forward, and taking steps, I believe we're good, The hike is concerned because LaBelle is concerned. LaBella's concerned because they're an engineering firm.
Wasn't there a directive from DEC also?
There was never a directive.
There was a verbal directive.
Not even that. No, they led us to believe that there was. But when I met with DEC, there's nothing that states that.
Okay.
Were you at the last meeting, Pete, when I reported that they finally gave us a reason why we can't repair that pipe? Because the sediment, so that was the, it's undermining, so they don't want us to touch it, and I don't, at this point, I don't blame them. You know, I understand the situation, but I did not understand for a year and a half. And finally, with everybody in the same room, I got to ask the questions and they gave us.
Yeah, well, the engineering firm, it'd be interesting seeing the data that they're using to make the determination that it needs to be capped. I mean, this settlement has been ongoing now for well over 10 years. It's not urgent, it's not sudden, it's been a long time. So if they're offering an engineering opinion, then also offer us the data they're using to determine the rate of sediment. You know, rather than just looking at it and offering an opinion right out of the blue.
And their opinion is to mitigate risk, which it's
Can
very
mean almost
vague.
Anything. Yeah.
It's very vague and,
That's pretty
That's
very
very
vague. I
vague.
mean,
but I, believe me, I've fought them tooth and nail on this for a long time. But finally, once, we're just capping it, by the way. We're not filling it with cement for 200 grand.
Right.
We're just gonna cap it. So that's, so Titan Bond is the engineering firm we're using now. I asked them to give us a quote to come up with an alternative water supply, you know, siphon system.
Mhm.
And I also reached out to LaBella for a quote from them. Because they have all this information. I would imagine that they're not gonna, well, I'm not gonna say they're not gonna charge us for it, I'm sure they're gonna charge us. But I don't believe it'll be an exorbitant amount compared to someone that's starting from scratch.
Right.
So that's where we stand with that, and that's all I have.
I move that we accept the supervisor's report.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. The accountant. You see, usually he leaves us a report, the budget versus actual. For the end of January. So, you guys can peruse that. But I'll just say it's his report. Which I make a motion to just accept that budget report.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. The attorney report.
Yeah, I have a couple things. John asked me to do some research on the Bow grant and whether the water district could participate in it. And the language within the endowment says that the money is to be used for townwide purposes. And there's case law that supports that conclusion that special improvement districts, because they're not townwide, cannot participate in this type of funding. That's the first thing. Second thing, I got the other day the Tigenbaum additional agreement that I just haven't had time to read. I got that on Tuesday, I think. And I'll do that over the weekend. And today, I received a copy of a letter from the New York State Department of Health questions regarding proposed changes in the engineer's report that was done by, CT Mail. And that report was done in 2024, and we got the letter today in 2026. So that should be given to Tig.
Yep.
All right. And the final thing is Jason wrote to me today about a reserve fund for the highway department, which there's a process that you need to follow under the town law and the local finance law to set up reserve funds. So I will get that all done early next week and send it up to you for us to implement and transfer the money. That's it.
So, guys, real quick, on that note, that was where we started putting money. We budgeted last for 26, $20,000 for the culvert pipes.
Right.
But we're not gonna just call it culvert pipes. Jason, what was your terminology?
Highway infrastructure, so it doesn't bottleneck us.
Highway
But
infrastructure.
it's, in the budget, it's listed now as, equipment reserve, so we just put it in the wrong spot, so we create the proper account.
So you want it to be designated as highway infrastructure? All right, that's what we'll do. And I won't give you a lesson on how you do it tonight. We'll save that for later.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, I make a motion to accept the attorney's report.
Second,
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Highway recycling.
Keep it simple this evening, been super busy, cold, snow, everyone's aware. All our equipment is currently operational, we're fully staffed. Salt and sand shed is full. Overtime and material usage is up over the past few years, but still within our budget. Working on receiving some quotes for a new tandem plow truck. I've received some numbers back. I should have everything for you guys for next week to review, or next meeting to review. Starting to meet with a few contractors in regards to summer projects. After that, outside of that, the rest of the highway department's been running smoothly. As far as the transfer station, nothing major to report, other than the fact I think I left you guys some numbers last month that showed our annual usage, year-end numbers. I believe you got those reports. And our trash numbers, where we were down about 50 tons from the prior year. So that's you know, a good news. Outside of that, everything is smooth sailing.
You know, when we leave tonight, we should look at that light. Central Hudson came and
They
adjusted
did
that
adjust it down, yeah.
light. A neighbor complained because the light was shining too high and going in their windows.
Yeah, if they pointed it way down, I don't think it should be an issue now.
Okay,
It's still lighting the parking lot nicely, so
okay.
It
This
was
is the
good.
one in the back flashing.
I turned it off, but it must be a bad ballast or something in it, I'm not sure.
I make a motion, we accept the highway superintendent's report.
second,
All in favor? Aye.
Right.
Motion carried. The town clerk.
Everybody has the numbers as always. For January, we were doing taxes and nothing but collecting taxes. Our warrant is paid. We have paid ourselves in full, which we typically do by this time of year. And we collect, again, typically at the end of January, by the end of January, 70% of our total for the year. That's all we can do. That's all I have.
And make a motion, we accept the clerk's report.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Code enforcement. Let's see. He's just got one permit for an accessory building. New road. The other, he's making progress also on some of the unsafe buildings. Two of them are now on a market. But we want to keep, I want to keep going forward with it because one of the listings went down $300,000. And if we didn't put pressure,
Well, I think we made progress in the last 2 years.
yes,
There's been numerous places that have either, in one instance, it's been torn down, others have, that corrected the problems with the properties and so it's good.
yeah, that is a goal for us. You know, we don't want to have Rensselaerville as a slum. So the one, so it's not really a report, right? So, did the assessor, I'll read the assessor's report. It's from Peter Holtalen. For the month of January, we received 12 transfers, 6 for estate planning and 6 for residential. In December, they received 6 transfers, 4 for estate planning and 2 residential. The assessor's office is very busy processing exemptions. Anyone turning 65 this year may qualify for the senior age exemption. And that's the assessor's report. I'll make a motion to accept the assessor's report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Water Sewer Committee. I'll let Jerry read.
I hope you're all well. Trying to go in, I gave you some bullet points. It's a one pager. We'll try and go through it quickly. Starting at the top with our committee meeting was held last week. There's a bullet here, new business discussed. The water sewer billing changed this year. And we met with John and the accountant about it, and we've got a plan to change it again in the coming year so that there's no surprises there. But we want to have more money in the water and less money in the sewer in the big picture. And we'll figure that out, John. We're working on that, right? Okay. The second one, the curb stop repair project. Well, boy, did I get started on this week. We had 3 broken pipes. I'll mention them in a minute. And we wound up having to dig up through the snow and whatnot. And John Rice was great. And we were able to turn off 2 of those 3 curb stops. The third one was at the library. And when we dug it up, and that was a chore given the freezing conditions, I think you went by, we the curb stop doesn't even exist. It's a pipe bent, so you can't get down to the turnkey. Because I was so worried about this, because the line was therefore frozen from the curb stop to the library, that's the service line. It's the responsibility of the library. But if it bursts, we're responsible to turn off the water. Can we turn off the water? Well, we couldn't turn off the water because we didn't have a curb stop that was functioning. And so we dug and dug and dug, and finally the plumber showed up at the library and announced pretty definitively that he felt the pipe wouldn't burst. And if it did burst, the water in the service line was likely to run down the street. And we said, this is a hopeless project to try and dig up that line in this weather. So we decided on a calculated risk to let it go to the spring, and the plumber feels we're going to be okay. We had pipes. So this raises the issue about the curb stops and a project that had been kind of hedging forward, but not full blast. And we are going to, in the spring, get that contractor in as soon as the ground is unfrozen and work and get all these curb stops, talk to you about it. And there's other people to talk about it and get them done. I reached out to a couple of excavators. One of them didn't want to do it. The other one was in Florida. Both said excavation equipment is useless in this deep freeze. But one of them, I'll mention his name. It was Andre, I think it's Nadeau. Nadeau, yes. And he said when he comes up in April, he'd be very interested. So we need to line up somebody immediately. This cannot go on another year of me and John Rice and John Van Schaik out there with shovels trying to figure out where the curb stops are. And I have a map, which I can show you. We have a map of all the curb stops. But again, you can see snow and ice. It's just-
But that curb stop you said was not there?
The curb stop, some of them have bent pipes. They've been buried for a long time. Some of them even have stone over them, like curbs actually over them. And this one, when we got down and uncovered it, it was bent like this. And not only that, it was filled. And it was, filled in 6-degree weather is not the kind of thing that you can easily empty out without contaminating it by using some kind of, antifreeze. So we basically decided, with John Rice's advice, that we weren't going to go any further with that. But we tried. So, I'm really proud of John, and John Van Schaik was out there, and we were out in the dark shoveling,
Why did you look for that curb stop?
because the line from the library has 2 lines. There's the main line, which they didn't know someone had turned off. Both of them had the individual curb stops that we're responsible for. And someone had started using the annex line. And that line, the library reported, it's frozen, we got no water. So we said, get a plumber, you got to look into it. That took days. But while they were doing that, they discovered that they could switch to the main line, not the annex line, and they had water. That curb stop, that service line from the street side into the building was fine. But this one, the annex, therefore, they turned off inside. But we were worried that the line had frozen, not inside the building, but it frozen in the service line between the curb stop and the building. The question is, what's going to happen if that potentially breaks?
Right, but so that's the reason, because they had no water. That's what started this.
That's right.
And the only reason why I had no water is somebody shut the valve.
And I don't know the answer to that. And in my conversations with Patrick, he didn't know who had done it either, but you can inquire if you want. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, how that happened.
The point is that it needs to be, to avoid this in
Yep.
January, you guys were digging, but they should have some kind of sign or safety or a box on that valve that feeds,
Totally.
because the valve is inside the building.
Yep. So after all this happened, I contacted Vicky and we sent out a notice to the water users that, there's potential as these pipes start to defreeze because the weather's getting a little warmer, that we could have more problems. Please look into your pipes and please be responsible and get back to us with anything. And next thing I know, I got some guy in New York City calling me up. I'm worried my pipes are frozen. Could you go over and look at them?
No.
But I did.
Drive up, yeah.
I did. What am I going to do? And another guy had, it's other people had made arrangements, but I mean, it's an emergency. I want to be sure we don't have another leak. The water is coming back up in the holding tank. It was down to 20 inches. It's now up to about 40. And it needs to get up to 50 to 65 to be what is normal. So hopefully we're going to get there. And when Ken, I'm sorry about Ken's last name, Ripkema, I'm not sure how to say it. Yeah, is that right? Yeah, I'm sorry. And John had been going, morning and evening to check the holding tank. And once it started rising, we were relieved that the first break we had gotten to, which was down at the Jenkins house, and turned off the water to that house. And that was a major issue. That house was full of water. They got a plumber inside, and but the house was already flooded in the basement. Okay, so and that's where our water was going, right there, right. So this was all in the past week. Lots of fun, and we are really. I want to just commend John Van Schaik for stepping up. He's now on his way to the Netherlands. Jaron is in Florida. Ed is in Philadelphia. So I'm saying Hail Marys and hoping nothing else happens, okay? I got a couple more things. I want to go through this fast, okay? I'm sorry to belabor that, but that was the exciting news. Next one up, we hired a clerk, Vivian Galloway. Some of you may know her. She's marvelous, and she's going to be a great addition to the team. She's very software savvy. It's going to take some of the load off of sustainable growth. We have preliminary tabletop schematics done by Rebecca Platel. mentioned this to you, John, when we were gonna do that walkthrough, which got delayed because of the snow. But I do have, if you gentlemen want, the schematics here, and I could give them to Vicky if you guys would like. And there are, basically, I just suggested that this is not for the public yet. We don't want people seeing this. But we have two diagrams. One's a map, one's a diagram of the system. You're welcome to have them and give you a better understanding of how it works, okay? Can I leave them with, okay, with Vicky? Ah, there we go. One for 100 here.
I hope those pages are numbered.
Yeah, they're numbered, they're clipped. The other thing on this beginning is water meter advocacy. That's the next one up. We drafted a one-page request, which last time we reported had gone to a guy named John Poog, who is a banker in Albany, who claimed he had, working with Rebecca Patel, claimed that he could help us search for meter funding. Meter funding is about $150K. We're waiting to hear back. He said he had a lobbyist who would pro bono help us. We want to reach out to our legislators and all that, and we've had all the preliminary conversations, waiting to hear back from this lobbyist. And if I don't hear back from him by the end of the week, we're going to go forward without him. That too, if you'd like to see, is the one pager. Give you the commander here. Okay, all right. All right. I don't want to take much more of your time, guys. That's it for the first one. Sewer district, nothing new is happening. The water district, please use our Gmail. You see it there. I just talked about the deep freeze, so we don't need to go over that bullet. The capital project, Bill Ryan's actually covered most of this. We have gotten the signed proposal from Ty and Bond. It's up to Bill and then the town to look at it, and hopefully the sooner it's approved, the sooner we can have that kickoff meeting, which now is even more important because the DOH and the state DOH has given us a laundry list of stuff that we got to attend to, and we're going to dump it on Ty and Bond to start attending to it. Right, Bill?
Yeah.
Right. All right. The bank anticipation note, I am clueless about. It's just in here to make sure that there is that extension getting done. Presumably it is, right? Thank you, Bill. And the EPA administrative order, we got them on order. They haven't been delivered yet. Vicky and Ed are handling that, and we're going to be getting a mixer and some hatch cover that will help us bring the holding tank up to speed for the EPA. And Vicky, do you have any update on that? I don't think you will, right?
I don't, but I could reach out to both of them.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Next steps, execute the DWSRF project contract. We talked about that. We've got new members, that walking tour, when we get some weather where we can get around, John, we'll let you know, okay? And also let Lynn Love know and anybody else. You gentlemen, you're all welcome if you want to get out there in the mud and traps around. We'll get the mixer installed in the spring. The contractor I mentioned, we have one person interested. We may get those we will get those curb stops done. And the water sewing district billing rate user survey is something that Syracuse University has just contacted us about, that they're doing in conjunction with the Environmental Facilities Corporation. I have not attended any of these meetings, but my understanding is it's a freebie for us to have our water rates examined for how we do them. This leads back to John and I having a conversation with the accountant about the trouble about all we do is count faucets. We count outlets right now. We want to look at that this summer and we want to update it. And if we can get water meters in, hallelujah, we'll get out of that ridiculous antiquity of a system, right? Yeah. That's it. I have one more thing to tell you that doesn't have to do with the water committee, okay? My career, as Bill knows, we've met and talked about it, was in something called kinship care. I was a national expert, and kinship care really translates to grandparents and relatives raising children, not in foster care. 3 million kids in this system, as opposed to 400,000 in the foster care system, and these kids get hardly anything. Now, I traveled all over the country. I ran a program in all 62 counties in New York State, and go to a rural county like we are here, or go to one county I always remember is going to Ogdensburg, and just being appalled at the stories I heard. So the enterprise editor got in touch with me and said, "Oh, you're the new chair. We'd like to interview you." And it turned into a discussion about my career in kinship care. And there's been an article published and a podcast published, but today's paper, the editorial is advocating for more help for these families. So I feel really good about it. If you know anybody in this situation, it doesn't have to be a relative who's raising kids that aren't theirs. My program covered all 62 counties. You can talk to me about it, and we'd love to see what we can do to help them. Okay, it's a big subject. Okay,
Okay.
good enough. Okay, I'm
Yep.
sorry to go on,
Yep.
guys. Okay, all right.
I make a motion to accept the water sewer committee report.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. The library sent a report.
That was nice, one.
So real quick, they did a cooking class at the Medusa branch in January. Craft kids. I'm glad, I did go to the library and speak to a couple of people there. You know, wintertime, it's not being used as much, but you know, some of these things, financial and health classes, exercise movement classes for older adults. This participation. So I went to ask them to send us a report because, you know, I'd like to talk about the library and see what they have available so people will take advantage of it. Film hours, make your own fashions, writers group. Oh, this has Puerto Rican sofrito, cooking demo with Robert Lugo. Robert Lugo, or what's the guy's name? Bad Bunny.
John, just 16 people came for that. 16 attended.
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Wait, this is, oh, January 22nd, right? So anyway, they have interesting things. I just have to try to find a better way to put it out there, what's available. But anyway, that's the library report. You guys will have copies, but I'll make a motion to accept and appreciate a report from the library.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, next up, we're tabling the contract with Titan Bond. You know, maybe we could do that at our next meeting, which is the 26th, if possible.
Oh, yeah, it'll be done.
Okay, this is the scary part now. We only got one bid for the garage doors and one bid for the oil furnace. So. So of course, there's a non-collusive bidding certificate, but I really don't understand. There's two different bids here. One's for 29,000, one's for 34,500.
Bid for what?
Huh?
What are the bids for?
The garage doors.
John, I spoke with Jessica. She was asking about the R value of the doors. I suggested she submit two separate bids at different R values. That's probably what that is.
Now I see. Our value of 16.2, the other one is 6.5. So,
Big difference.
and it's about, so 29 to It's about $1,000 a door. Which is fine. We'll review these. We'll make copies. I'll give it to you guys and we'll review it. And then, remember, we budgeted 100 grand for that.
We budget a little more and get a better letter opening.
Yeah, right. And this is the waste oil furniture, furnace. Non-conclusive bidding certificate. And this is, when we put the quote out there, we wanted them to come up with the size of a unit. So they're coming up with a 350,
1,000 BTU.
it's a model number, EL350 furnace. And it says, that includes 1,000-gallon vertical waste oil tank. That includes prevailing wage. And it's $30,789.92. Once again, we'll make copies and we'll review that and bring it up at the next,
Yeah, because we were at 15,000 before,
without the tank.
without the tank.
The tank is 10 grand.
With containment? Or is it just
It's a double wall tank,
double?
so we don't need containment. All right, so sounds good. We'll make copies and we'll peruse that better.
Good.
So that's on the old business. On the new business, authorization to place highway materials, hauling of recyclables, park mowing and portalets out for bid. Bids will be submitted by 6:30 PM, March 26th, 2026. Where we, these just go in a paper, Jason?
What's that, John?
These bids?
Yeah, and then I send them out to the different vendors as well, but legal notices too, yes.
So I'll make a motion to authorize Jason to place the highway materials, the recycling, park mowing, and portalets out for bid.
A second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Motion carried, and that's all we got. Any audience comments? Tim, you missed out on your report.
I'd like to say one thing. Department did an incredible job keeping our streets clean in all this snow. I really want to express my appreciation to the town for the work they did.
Believe me, we recognize it. I know it. We all know it, especially at 3 o'clock in the morning or 3:30 when these guys are out there, you know.
Did a nice job.
They did, terrific.
Got good leadership.
Thank you.
Brian's not here, so I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I was just gonna say that. That's always Brian's job.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You're beeline